Hello there, I'm Sydney, and I'm here to introduce you to the topic of the Battle of Antietam. I've gathered a team of experts to help me. The Battle of Antietam took place in September of 1862. The battle occurred due to Confederate General Robert E. Lee's decision to move north into Maryland after his victory at the Second Battle of Manassas. Lee's intentions were to cut off rail links to Washington, D.C. and gather supplies. The Battle of Antietam marked Lee's first invasion of the North, and September 17, 1862 would be known as the bloodiest single-day battle in the Civil War.
The Battle of Antietam took place in Sharpsburg, Maryland, with Union General George McClellan and Confederate General Robert E. Lee. The Union Army had around 75,300 soldiers, and the Confederate Army had around 52,000 soldiers. Lee repositioned his army on the ridged hills on the outskirts of Sharpsburg, and Union forces arrived on September 16th. The next day, Union forces advanced with Confederate soldiers, catching them off guard and flanking them. Over and over, the Union attacked relentlessly, but constantly were surprised by the Confederates led by Stonewall Jackson. The Union was finally able to get some ground when General William French led his forces and attacked the Confederates, making a direct blow in their lines. After a long day of fighting, the Confederates retreated back to Richmond, and McClellan chose not to follow. This allowed the Battle of Antietam to be won by the Union.
The Battle of Antietam, like other Civil War battles, many soldiers died from their wounds. Death in this fashion would take a couple of hours due to the infection that would later follow traveling throughout the body. The chances of a soldier surviving significantly decreased if they had to get an amputation. Amputations during the Civil War were very painful, and most of the time the person was awake while the amputation was in progress, and would either die from the blood loss or infection. Disease took much larger numbers of lives in Antietam than actual battle wounds. Diseases like diarrhea and dysentery are said to have taken the lives of 44,000 soldiers, and many more died of hunger along with disease.
The Battle of Antietam not only prevented the Confederate Army from invading Maryland, it also protected Washington, D.C. Prior to the battle, Robert E. Lee had plans on attacking and capturing the Union capital of Washington, D.C. If this had happened, it would have been a devastating loss to the Union and might have changed the outcome of the war entirely. The battle also pushed back Lee's first attempt at invading the North, and the Union victory kept England and France from siding with the Confederacy. Finally, the most important outcome of the battle was that the Union victory gave President Lincoln the confidence to introduce the Emancipation Proclamation.
I'm Bobby Johnson with your Accu Army movements. We have George McClellan moving into Maryland following Robert E. Lee. We have Hooker on Lee's left, along with a Union assault onto the right on Sunken Road. We also have Hill arriving from Harper's Ferry north and to counterattack Burnside. It drove Burnside back into the battle. Skirmishes to start at the end of the troops around the town and around the churches and in the cornfields. Now we take it to Carolyn, who is with General George McClellan. Good night.
How's your army doing?
We are holding up our position well.
Are you taking offense or defense?
A defensive position, madam.
I've heard this has been the bloodiest battle yet. Are you taking many losses?
We are more wounded than that is killed.
What is your strategy?
Our strategy is to be defensive and protect Washington.
What do you hope to gain from this battle?
Have Maryland be safe from the rebel invasion.
And do you think you'll win?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now be gone!
General Lee, can I ask you a few questions? Sure. Why are you in this fight?
I'm in this fight because I agree with Virginia's opinion and I do not want any government restrictions.
Are you taking the offensive or defensive side?
We are taking the offensive side.
This has been the bloodiest battle yet. Have you had a lot of losses?
There have been more wounded than dead, but I'll do whatever it takes to win this battle.
What is your strategy?
My strategy is to take 7 rail links from Washington.
What do you hope to gain from this battle?
I hope to gain more land.
And do you think you'll win?
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Before the battle, Lincoln had been struggling with the idea of proclaiming the slaves in Confederate-held territory free. Lincoln was hesitant on this because he was waiting to hear good news from the battlefield. This good news came to him after the Battle of Antietam, and Lincoln, seeing that Maryland and Pennsylvania were safe from Confederate invasion, issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This document said that on January 1st, 1863, slaves in all Confederate-held states would be free. The document, however, did not free the slaves in the border states of Missouri, Maryland, Kentucky, and Delaware. It also did not outlaw slavery in the United States.